online, but
everyone's watching.
We're live on the show for Journey. On Journey and
Trip Digital Radio presents LA Style Magazine. Tis the time. Marquita Monet.
What's that?
And Trisha Love.
Yo, how you doing, man?
We're doing really, really well.
Awesome.
But we're better now. Trisha Love, please bring in our guest.
We're excited about this, man.
So excited. I'm delighted and honored to introduce our guest, Patrick McDavid, business mogul, entrepreneur. How are you today?
I'm very good. It's good to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Standing ovation.
Seriously. Thank you for coming. Gosh, where do we start, Patrick? You have such a fascinating story. I mean, going back to your family immigrating from Iran, and just that whole upbringing and that perspective of making something out of nothing. So tell us how that curated who you are today and how that influenced you as a businessman?
So I was born and raised in Iran. I lived there for 10 years. And then once Khomeini died, 6 weeks after that, we escaped. Went to a refugee camp in Germany. I lived at a refugee camp there for a couple of years, then came to the States. Lived in Glendale, California. Glendale should be like 20 miles away from you, right? If that. Yeah. I went to Glendale High School. I had a 1.8 GPA. By the way, if you don't know, Glendale High School's fame. Here's what you need to know. John Wayne went to Glendale High School. So I went to the same school as John. I don't know if it means anything or not, but
that means a lot. I live near the airport.
I feel pretty cool about it. I feel pretty cool about it. That's the Cowboy. Yes, okay. That's the Cowboy. Yes. So after high school, I didn't have a lot of choices on what to do. I went straight into the Army. I was a Hummer mechanic in the Army. I know she served in the military as well, but I was in the Army as a Hummer mechanic. Mm-hmm. And then got out 2.5 years later. I wanted to be the Middle Eastern Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was going to be a bodybuilder, go into Hollywood, marry a Kennedy, and then become a governor one day. But went a different route. And then I went into the financial industry, started with Morgan Stanley Dean Witter at 21, day before 9/11, and then stayed in that industry, built my own insurance company from 66 agents to now 9,700 agents in 49 states.
Wow.
And also run a side YouTube channel that we do on the side for fun.
With only 1 billion views.
Yeah, that's all.
So you did not only become Arnold Schwarzenegger, you became the Terminator.
Yes. in the financial space, I guess.
Okay. Yes. Just wanted to get that straight. Okay.
You did a post recently with Brave, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes.
Who does your creatives?
So we have a whole team that create our memes. Some of the memes don't make it up because I'll tell you the funny meme they made the other day. So you know the movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin? You guys know The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
So I just watched that last night.
The whole thing with the waxing, us Middle Easterns relates to that waxing thing, right?
A lot of stuff going on up there.
A lot of stuff going on up there. So one of our girls, I promise you, sometimes I wonder if this girl that works for me, she doesn't like me or something. So she made a meme. It was on my birthday. She called it the 40-Year-Old Entrepreneur. But it's with the geeky, nerdy look on her face. Wow. She said we should put this. So a lot of those memes don't make it live. Maybe 1 out of 10 does, because if the 9 made it, it'd be embarrassing.
Oh, that's awesome. So going back to business, how would you sum up your formula for success, if that's possible? I mean, you broke through barriers, went from levels to levels. I mean, going from an employee to sales, to sales leader to entrepreneur, and what's your formula? So
I think the biggest thing for me is everybody's different. We had 100 people here that came for a meetup earlier where we're talking to them, and everyone's situation is different. Everybody's is different. True. The number one most important thing is you got to get clear on what you want to do and who you want to be in life, because most people can't even answer that question. If I ask somebody right now the question, I say, so who do you want to be in life? What do you mean, who do I want to be in life? Who do you want to be in life? Do you want to be the 9 to 5? You come home, you live in a $300,000 condo, and you make $79,000 a year. Maybe once you go to Vegas for vacation, and maybe once every 3 years, 5 years, you go to Hawaii, and once every 10 years, you go to Europe, and your kids go to public school, and you and your husband or you and your wife come home at night. You live in a regular life. You watch CSI, you watch some shows, you watch Netflix, you do all this stuff, and maybe every once a month you chill together, right? Because of some people that are married nowadays, you barely get any time together. True. If somebody's okay with that, guess what? More power to you. Mm-hmm. But if somebody says, listen, man, I want to go out there and tee it up. I want to go out there and make sure somebody my family, the sacrifices they made, my last name is going to be remembered, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Well, maybe you need to work 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week for about a decade and tee it up and go live a different life. So unless you can't answer that question about who you want to be and what life you want to live, the rest is irrelevant. Too many of us, especially in today's world, we are looking at how other people are living, and then we want to do what somebody else is doing. For instance, it's a very competitive environment. I live in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas is a very vain city, similar to LA. Everybody wants to look good. So everybody wants to have the, nicer butt, bigger boobs, biceps, lips, better eyebrows. For me, my eyebrows, I can braid my eyebrows. I have Middle Eastern eyebrows. But for most part, everybody wants to do and beat somebody else, that competitive drive, which there's nothing wrong with it. But you give me somebody that has the blinders on, but they are crystal clear on what they want and a formula how to get there, I'm going to bank on this person more than the other competitive person, because that eventually slows down if you beat somebody. You got to get crystal clear on what you want. Once you do, then it's putting the formula behind it. And if you get the clarity and the formula, game over. You can't stop that person.
But it sounds like for that person that does want the luxuries, that was part 2 of your explanation, not the conformity of what's normal, then putting 80 hours a week or relentless hours a week isn't an option. I mean, it's necessary in order to bring
100%. And by the way, I'll tell you guys a whole different thing right now. Look, I'm not going to go into politics, but I'm going to explain to you politics in a way that has to do with your pocketbook. So let's talk about it from that standpoint. Politically, there's a lot of people right now that want to get us to make $15 an hour minimum wage, which, by the way, that's very noble. Sounds very good. $15 an hour times 40 hours a week is $31,200 per year. You are broke at $15 an hour.
All day.
We have to get people to realize, especially you live in California. California, you're going to get taxed. You live in California.
Right.
If you live in California, you keep half $1. You make $1.50 is yours. It's just kind of how it works, right? So if you want to live in California, a 2,500 square foot home right now in the Valley, how much is a 3,000 square foot home right now in Valley? Can we say 800, 900?
Yeah.
At least $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million home
Yeah.
on a 3,000 square foot home. Mortgage payments, what, $6,000 to $7,000, everything included, P&I, put it all together.
Right.
If you need to pay $7,000 a month for $1 million home, which is 3,000 square feet in Northridge, maybe off of Chandler on the other side, let's put it on this side, by Balboa and pick a street, Parthenia, okay? Balboa and Parthenia. It's $1 million home for 3,000 square foot home, right? Okay. You're going to public school, and to make a $7,000 a month payment for your house, you need to make $14,000 a month. $14,000 a month times 12, that's $200,000 a month, and you've only made your mortgage payment. Did you hear what I just said right there?
I'm hearing it.
So if you're sitting here listening to this, regardless of what you're trying to do, you have to solve to get your income to $500,000 your income today, and you have to solve to have a few $1 million in savings in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Because very soon we're going to have to pay all these taxes that we own as a country, and then taxes are going to go to 60, 70%. You got to be ready for it. Yeah. So we got to have a level of urgency to make a lot of money. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, white, black, Middle Eastern, it doesn't matter. We got to make some money.
On that note.
And
Got it.
the funny thing is what you just said, that clarity. That clarity is what it's all about, because we can't even get to the next level and figuring out where we want to go in any steps without that. Because I know so many people who are here, there, everywhere, and they're trying to do 18 different things to get that money that you're talking about. But their clarity's so gone that they can't focus enough to make $1.
I got to tell you, man, I'm struggling listening to your voice, man. I feel like I'm listening to a 1-900 voice with the BET thing going on. I can already, if my daughter had a guy like that talking on the other, I'm going to say, hang up the line. Hey, baby. So how you feeling tonight? You want me to sing a song
He's
for
not
you?
even trying.
You want me to sing?
Fair.
So can you sing as well? Like, can you sing some old school Rome or Keith Sweat or
I
Tevin
can throw
Campbell?
it in, but it wouldn't sound.
It wouldn't sound good, not like that.
I can just do this part. That's
yeah, but and you do that very good, very good. BET used to have what back in the days? Midnight Love, right? Remember Midnight Love?
What you know about that?
What do I grew up to all Midnight Love.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell you all about Midnight Love and all the R&B songs.
That was it.
You'd probably walk away saying, "What does this guy know about all this R&B?"
Hey.
I love it.
I used to do that on the radio down in college.
Did you really?
Yes, the Sunday night quiet
Somehow
storm.
I am not surprised.
Quiet storm.
It was the quiet storm.
That's
Nuts.
awesome.
Do not egg Tiz on. He would do that more. He's like,
Yeah.
He will go
he gets
lower.
breathy with it.
Nah, that's just how I speak, man. It's all good.
So let's segue into a little bit into valuetainment. How did it come about? What year and what was the idea behind that? Was it to inspire people from the get, or what was it?
So originally, I was creating content, a private for our company. It was only for us. And then Mario said, "Why don't we start making this content public?" And so we named the channel Patrick Bet David. And then after 2 years of naming the Patrick Bet David, one day I say, I wanted to change the channel's name because I want to be able to get other content creators on the channel as well. And then we changed the channel. We said, what do we do with this channel? We bring you value, we entertain, and it's becoming a movement. Valuetainment. I said, I bet nobody has that name. And so we went online. You know how you think you're the first person that came out with a brilliant idea? Valuetainment.com, it's taken. It's a publicly traded company in Germany. Yeah, I'm like, how do you pick a beautiful name like this? I wanted to be able to say I came up with this name. But no, this guy named Dirk came up with this name in Germany. And I called him up. I said, hey, I want to buy your domain. And he sends an email saying, no problem, $300,000. I said, you are out of your mind. I'm not paying $300 for this.
Wow.
Anyways, we just bought his domain 3 months ago, I think for $27,500. He changed the company name from Valuetainment to Valuetees because the amount of content we created. So Dirk, if you're listening, ich liebe dich in German. Man, I love you. I want to tell you this. So anyways,
awesome.
So we named it Valuetainment and we started creating content, and the focus was, I took one word and I said, if there's one word I can talk about, what is that one word? It's entrepreneurship. We made that the focus and it grew. It grew from 0 to million, 2 subs today, billion minutes watched, and it's growing. So yeah, that's how I started.
Powerful.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And on that note, of all the entrepreneurs that you have interviewed, who has been your most memorable and why?
Entrepreneurs. If you say entrepreneurs, I'm going to give you a weird name because Mark Cuban was fascinating, but Chip Wilson to me is one of the most underrated CEOs out there. So let me give you the stats about this guy, who Chip Wilson is. Who here wears Lululemon? Okay, who wears Lululemon? You wear Lululemon? Okay. So do you know how Lululemon got started? Like, do you know the story of Lululemon, how this thing got started? So this guy is going around. He would sit at coffee shops where women would go to right outside of yoga spots. Intentionally would go to the top yoga spots in LA. And he would sit and he would wait and listen to all the women complain about everything they were wearing. So he started taking notes. And he noticed what women were complaining about their clothes. They had a hard time wearing their yoga clothes outside because they felt uncomfortable because something made it look uncomfortable for them. So he said, I'm going to change this look. And that became his focus. He changed it. He took it from 0 to $12 billion empire. The guy's worth $3.9 billion today.
Wow.
And he used to be 99% customers were all women. He took it from 99% to today, 60% of his customers are women, 40% are men. Lululemon. So his story is fascinating. If you listen to this guy, by the time you're done, you're going to say, I can do what you did to a business, to my own business. Chip Wilson, founder of Lululemon, fascinating story.
Wow. That is extraordinary.
That's something I did not know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we got to go to yoga together, me and you. You do the
Yes.
talking and I'll do the splits.
Man,
We'll make it work.
We'll make it happen.
And we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, I do want to say thank you to Chip because I really like the clothes as well.
That he makes?
Well, the view is great.
Yeah, I know a lot of men appreciate his clothes. So
You got to, man.
yeah. Well, my friend Mario wears Lululemon every day. He comes to the office. We ask him to leave.
Mario, you ask him to leave.
We ask him to
You
leave.
got
We ask him to change his clothes, but he's gone over it already.
Oh my God, Patrick, you have achieved so much. Like just reading your bio and how Trisha introduced you, I'm like, whoa, we are literally amongst a God. Like seriously, you are the manifestation of a God, of a king, and considering all that you have achieved, how do you define success at your level? Because as an educator, as a teacher, I can define it one way that I know that high school students will understand. But at your level, how do you define success in a way that the audience can say, this is the plan, this is the basic formula, so to speak?
So, honestly, it's not going to change based on what levels it's at. Because for me, success to me is alignment. And let me explain what I mean by alignment. Here's what I mean by alignment. So alignment to me is, say, for instance, you woke up today and you said, today, I'm going to be the best possible cop. I'm going to be the best possible waiter, waitress. I love cutting. Like I have a guy right now. His name is Michael Rapatoni. Okay, he cuts hair.
Yeah.
Italian guy from Philadelphia. He tells me mob stories 24/7. Okay,
Philly.
and we sit there. The guy knows so many great stories, right? So the more I talk to this guy, he's become a friend. I'm going to his wedding here next couple weeks. And so I said, so tell me what you do prior to this. He says, Pat, I used to be in real estate. I said, so what kind of money were you making? He says, Pat, I was making $400,000 every single year in the 90s. I said, really? $400,000 a year is not bad income in the 90s. Yeah, I was making very good money. So why are you cutting hair? I mean, what you talk about is so impressive. You can go in any business, make money. He says, Pat, my entire life, I was creative. I was an artist. I liked cutting hair. This is what I love doing. My dream is to open up my own shop because he's a talker. So he'll start telling you, he's like a therapist. He doesn't get paid to be a therapist, right?
That's
a barbershop, right?
Beauty shop too.
I mean, that guy is a perfect example of what a barbershop should be, the conversations.
Yeah.
So he said, I want to open up a shop. I want to be able to do this for the rest of my life. When I talk to him, he is a very happy man. To me, that's success because he's aligned. So it is not just about you wanting to be a billionaire, you wanting to live in that loft, you wanting to have a slide coming out of your bedroom into your swimming pool. Somebody must say that's cocky, that's arrogant. You're so full of yourself. Somebody else must say, that's how I want to wake up. I want to have my slide going to a pool. What's your problem?
That's
I want
me.
that.
I
Yeah.
want Disneyland in my backyard.
So again, the point is, what is that famous line from that one movie that men have never seen? What's that one movie called? Notebook, right? I mean, no man's ever watched Notebook before.
That's a lie. You
right?
guys say
We've
you
never
haven't,
watched
but you
it.
know
I've
you
heard
have.
stories about it
Patrick.
where Noah asks her that famous line, which is what? What do you want? Right?
Yeah, the one question.
What do you want?
In the
right?
rain when she's
What
crying.
do you want? What do you? I don't know what I want. What do you want? And
all
she's
the
trying to
doves.
debate whether she marries that congressman, the good-looking white boy, or if she marries this Noah guy that's going to build this White House for her, and she's going to be like a carpenter deal. Look,
Right.
what do you want? That's really what it is. But here's a challenge. If let's just say you figure out what you want, you cannot get jealous and envious over somebody else that wants more than you.
Yeah.
You cannot say, dude, that guy's greedy. He wants to live in a 30,000 square foot home. What a greedy bastard he is. No, he wants that. You don't want it. Leave him alone. He wants to have the Ferrari and the Lambo. You don't. He wants to have a $250,000 watch. You don't. Why are you bothering him? Just let him be. And he's not going to bother you. You want to be a regular person that, marries Noah and he builds you a White House and he's a carpenter and he does work on you. More power to you. But the key is alignment. If you can get aligned, you're going to live a happy life. And that to me is success.
I'm in complete agreement. Of all of your accomplishments, with your sharing with us that success truly is happiness and having the courage to be happy, because some people don't have the courage to be a barber when they knew they used to make $400,000 a year before in real estate. But of all of your accomplishments, what are you most proud? Which one are you most proud of and why?
Which one am
so far?
Which one am I most proud of and why?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know if I even look at it that way because let me say it to you this way. To me, I have if you work with me, Mario was saying today we're flying, and Mario is telling me because when we bring new employees, we have to talk to them about the environment, the goals, the dreams. So today, Mario and Bradford are sitting down, 55-page deck. They're telling all the teammates what the standards and expectations are going to be. And then Mario says, Pat, if somebody can work with you for 3 to 5 years, they can work with anybody. And I said, why would you say such a thing? He says, because there are so many dimensions to you, right? So let me explain what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is I'm very soft, very tender, very gentle, very kind, easygoing, no expectation. That's what he's trying to say, right? At least that's how I take it.
He's nodding his head, but I don't think he's telling the truth.
but this is the moral of the story. The point is this. I have a very serious side. I have a very inquisitive, curious side, and I have a very playful side. To me, I love playing games. When I say games, I'm saying like games, like Monopoly. Man, let's play Monopoly. We can play Monopoly, and I want to take Atlantic from you. You give me Boardwalk. I'll trade you for, 4 railroads, and we talk about all this other stuff, and then we're having a good time. So to me, honestly, the game of business is the greatest game I've ever played, and the game's not over yet.
Yeah.
So I'm still playing the game. So I can't really sit there and say my biggest accomplishment is that. I can't really tell you anything yet because I'm still playing the game. And we're getting very good right now. That's the part. We're getting to a point right now where we're figuring things out more than ever before. So we're having like last year, we put our conference together in Las Vegas. Last year at our first conference we ever hosted, we had a couple hundred people there. This was in 2010, I think April. The last conference we put together in Las Vegas last year, we had 4,300 people there, 4,500 people there. Kevin Hart was our entertainment of the night. Okay, he came and he did his irresponsible tour deal, and it was hilarious. Let me put it to you this way: 100 insurance executives, they heard more F-bombs in a span of 1 hour than they've heard all the conferences combined in their lifetime, right? Now, most insurance guys curse on the side, but they don't curse in public. So they were kind of shocked by that. But we had a good time. This year, we've already sold 10,600 tickets. The event is sold out 5 months out. So it's going to be an insane event we're putting together at the Mirage. But again, I can't tell you that's it, because it's the game. Like, what's next? What are we doing next? So if you stay in that mode, you will never go into burnout mode. And I'm not a fan of burnout. I like playing the game and I'm enjoying it. So once I get to that point, I'll tell you when I get there, but I'm not there right now.
I actually kind of read between the lines. It feels like you have that your accomplishment is just, it's constant. It's like, it's just constant. Every time you inspire somebody, that's an accomplishment. You don't look at it like this large scale. You look at it as individuals that you impact on a consistent basis.
That could be it. Yeah, I think.
It's like, it's constant. Like I impacted that person. I inspired that person.
Yeah.
On this level, at barbershop, and on this level, real estate mogul that's bringing in billions of dollars or millions of dollars.
You mind if I ask them to move on the couch so I can lay down and we'll do a therapy session here together? I want to figure out my problems with my dad, my mom, my exes. I want to figure every problem out today. We're going to figure it out together. No, but listen, when you said what you said, you make
your energy. It's your energy. It's not my fault. You're constant.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, I think people that probably work me on a daily basis would say you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
But when you look at all the accomplishments that you have and all of the things that you do, now the thing that I really want to know is how do you then define, how do you balance everything else? Family, life, your kids, your, everything that's going on, self-care, everything that's going on. How do you then balance all that with everything else that's going on?
Yeah, so there is the diplomatic answer to give, and then I'm going to give you the truth. I'm just going to tell you the true aspect of it. It's not easy, period. It's just not. You're going to lose in a few other places. When I say you lose in a few other places, I have hits like, one time I went to the hospital, middle of the night. They take me to the hospital. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I feel like I'm dying right now. No, you're just having an anxiety attack because I was going 2.5 hours sleep for like 3 weeks straight. And it's like, look, you just need to take a break right now.
Yeah.
You've been going hardcore. So you're going to have some of those days. But, again, family-wise, I'll tell you how I got married. This is very weird when I tell you how I got married. Right. This typically, people think I'm weird on how I got married. So I'm 28 years old, which is a very weird age for men because you're 2 away from that 3 number. And you're no longer closer to 20 than 30. You're closer to 30 than 20, right? So it's kind of like, wait a minute, can I stick around in the 20s a little longer, right? So I'm 28, which for men is pretty confusing. And I said, I'm going to stay single. I'm fine. I can stay single. I enjoy being single. I'm the guy that can go to the movies by himself and I enjoy my own company. I used to go to movies at 10. I love me. You too, yeah. I used to go to movies at 10 o'clock with 80-year-old senior citizens. We watched movies together. We had such a great time. My dates were 82-year-olds. Right? Arm around me, we're watching a movie together, right? But no, I was 28 and I said, you know what? Listen, I had this, one of my associates' wives. He said, Patty, I'm just going to stay single. I'm telling you, I'm fine. I'm going to be okay. She says, no, you got to get married. We want to meet your kids one day. I'm like, I'm totally fine. She says, look, there's a book. This guy, today I was listening to the radio. He said, you got to read this book. Just read it. I said, what's the book? It's 101 questions to ask before you get engaged. I said, I don't need a book like this. I said, just read it. So I buy the book, right? And the book, it's got 101 questions. Literally, it's 101 questions. And you just literally answer every question. It's the easiest book you can ever write because just put 101 questions and empty blank page and points nothing, right?
Right.
Anybody writes this book. So I go through the book. I'm like, interesting. So at that time I was talking to 4 girls. Okay. And I had every one of them read this book. They read the book and I said, hey, let's see what's going to happen here. So we met up together and I said, let's go through it. So I'm telling them my stuff. And one of the questions is, what baggage do you bring to the table?
Mhm.
And on the bottom disclaimer, it says, if anybody says none, run, because everyone's got some kind of baggage
All of them.
they bring to the table. So by the time it was done, my wife and I were dating. I took her out. We went to Earth Cafe, which Earth Cafe is what? Santa Monica Earth Cafe. Then we went and did the stairs in Santa Monica.
There's
you know
one
this.
downtown too.
There's
but
one
yes,
downtown too. Yeah. We went to Santa Monica stairs. I don't know if you know the Santa Monica stairs.
Yeah,
Pretty
been there
epic
many
stairs.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's a bad idea.
and then I took her to the Borders.
Okay.
And I took her to Borders, and I said, listen, this is going to be kind of weird. This is our second date. I said, this is a book I want you to read. So on the second day, I bought her a book, 101 Questions to Ask Before You Get Engaged. And I said, I need you to read this because I know you like me and I like you too, but I don't want to get in the uncomfortable phase where people get stuck together and you don't want to be with them long term, but you can't break up because it's comfortable. You don't want to get used to new things, this person already accepts me for these 7 things. I have to go and get another person who accepts me for these 7 things. That whole annoying thing you go through, right?
Wow.
Anyways, long story short, a week later, we do our 6-hour thing. We go through every single question together. I said, you know what? This could actually work. A year and a half later, we got married. We got 3 kids today. We've been married for 9.5 years. And this is what I always say. I don't know if I'm going to be married for 20 years, but I know for a fact I can be married 1 more year.
Yeah.
So we take it 1 year at a time is what we take it. Marriage is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. So moral of the story. What is the moral of the story? In that 6-hour conversation, I asked her, here's the life I want to live.
Yeah.
I am not a 9-to-5er. I am not going to be home every night. I work 6 days a week. I am going to travel. I am going to be doing the following things. In return, I'm going to give you X, Y, Z. But if you hover over me and you try to control me, I become your enemy. You don't want me as an enemy. I'm just trying to be very open with you. So for a year and a half, I pushed the hell out of her. We fought 24/7 because I want to know if it was real or not. I want to experience all of it. And then she leaves me alone. So we're so going back to it. But she has an amazing life.
Yeah.
She's sleeping in a 15,000 square foot home right now. 4 stories, nanny, protection, 2 scary Shih Tzus that protect them in the house, very intimidating Shih Tzus. They're scary. You got to be careful with those 2 Shih Tzus, right?
Is she a stay-at-home mom or does she work also?
She works as well.
What does she do?
She works with me. She's our operations, and she's actually, we met in the business.
That.
She is great at this business. She knows the business very well. So she runs the operations side, and we knew she's on the, like, if this is the office, her office is here, my office is here.
Best place.
That's
Very
good.
simple.
Pat.
Yeah,
She fits
no
in
doubt.
with your plans.
It works for us, and we've been able to make it work so long, for us for 9.5 years, and we're happy. But again, this is the problem. A lot of time people ask me about balance. People fake it. You know how they say, people fake it in bedroom or whatever. People fake it when they're dating. Like, it's like, oh, so tell me, like men will say, oh my gosh, look at those flowers. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Look how beautiful those flowers are. It reminds me of my grandmother. That one time my mother and grandmother, we were walking outside and I smelled the roses and it was so amazing. And the girl says, I've met him. I love him. This is the man of my dreams. I love him so
And
much.
guess who she met? His representative.
That's the point. That's the point. So I think it's just I think because we're not really upfront, real upfront, we act a lot, and then we end up dating a fake person because you acted for that person. They're trying to date the actor, not the real person. So I'm just going to be, this is me. Sometimes I'm an asshole. Sometimes I'm tough to be around. Sometimes I'm, strong. Sometimes I'm stubborn. Sometimes I'm telling jokes. You're realistically, you're dating 8 guys. So if you want to have that, you got 8 guys you're dating, except it's 1 guy you go to bed with. You don't have to have 8 numbers you text. It's 1 number, but it's 8 guys. So I just don't know who's going to show up today.
Man.
So it works out for everybody.
So what along with that then, so I mean, those are all words of wisdom that you're telling me. But do you have any other nuggets of wisdom that you can put out there for our people?
When it comes down to relationships?
No, just when it comes down to business, life. Let's put it at life.
So let's talk about one area. Here's the thing. I think a lot of times people in the world of business are trying to come up with the next best idea, right? Everybody's trying to come up with the next best idea.
True.
Hey, I have an idea. I think this idea can be a $10 million business. I have an idea. This can be a $1 billion business. I have this other idea. We can do this. I think people need to spend more time coming up with systems that continuously produce ideas, not just one-off ideas. Most people are like, well, I'm afraid to share my idea because what if somebody steals my idea, right? If you have a formula in place, like earlier we were talking, right, Trish? We were talking earlier, And we're over there and I'm showing a formula to them. I said, this is the formula. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. If you bank on systems and formulas that are proven, you are never going to run out of ideas because you have the system where you can look at any industry. Within an hour, you can come up with ideas and pick and choose what idea is best to put your time into. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is instead of trying to come up with great ideas, start asking people. Like when you meet successful people, ask them about their systems. Ask them about how they process issues. Ask them what is their step-by-step on how they handle a conflict. Ask them those questions. Those are the questions that I'm able to transfer your system to me. You know, women talk to each other and say, so what do you do with your skin? You meet somebody that's got beautiful skin. First thing I'm going to ask is, so tell me your process. Yep. First I do this, then I do this, and I do that. I use this Korean thing that I bought from this place for $300, and I do this, and I add this additional touch. And in the morning I do this, and I watch, okay, you just gave me your system, right? In the world of business, how did you make your money? How did you do this? No. What is your system for raising money? What is your system for hiring people? What is your system for finding a business partner? What is your system when you're about to make a tough decision? You have a guy in conflict you're having. How do you handle those? If you can steal or pull out those systems from people that are transferable to you, now it's in your arsenal. You know, you can implement those in any industry you're part of. So
That's what's
the thing I would say to wrap it up is just ask questions that give you transferable knowledge that you can apply tonight. That's what I would say.
Man, you know what? The cool thing about what you're saying is we can sit here and talk about all this all night because you have so much going on, so much knowledge. But you have some things coming up, some conferences that you got. What is it, the Vault?
The Vault, yes.
Okay. Hey, it sounds like that you might have some of that information for people at stuff like that. So can you tell us a little bit about it, when it's going to happen, and where people can basically follow you and get involved with that?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for letting me do that. You know, the Vault is the first Valuetainment conference we're hosting in Dallas, Texas. It's a 3-day conference that we'll have.
And when is it?
And it's going to be May 1st to May 4th. It starts May 2nd, but May 1st, everybody gets registered. It's at the Hyatt Regency in Dallas. You can go to valuetainment.com to register for the event. We already have people register from 36 different countries. Today, we got our 36th, which is Pakistan. Somebody's coming from Pakistan, all over the world. But what we're doing at the Vault is the following. It's 3 days. Each day is dedicated for a different thing. Day one, it's about identifying your next 3 moves. So your next 3 moves may be different than her next 3 moves. They may be different than her next 3 moves. But it's identifying your next 3 moves. So first thing is studying your trends and identifying your next 3 moves. The next day is systems, protocols, procedures to be transferred to you. Here's the systems that we do to study data. Here's the trend to find your customers. Here's what you do to process issues. A problem-solving formula that I've used for the last 15 years that works in the war room, the boardroom, and the bedroom. Again, a problem-solving formula that you can apply in any industry. You'll sit there, transferable to anybody, and you can apply it. And then last but not least is team building and how to go out there and put a team together, go build your business into an empire. So we'll be covering that for 3 days in Dallas. It's going to be exciting. This isn't one of those things where you go and every speaker gets up and they sell their package. We are literally going through content from morning till night for 3 days. Very intense. It'll be in Dallas, May 1st to May 4th.
We should fly down and cover it.
Yes. That's awesome, man. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I want to go because there's a lot of nuggets that I need to get from you because you have a lot of experience and you have a lot of knowledge that I know everyone up here and anybody in the room can definitely use. And so I would like to also share that with the people. So where can we find you on social media? Where can they find your YouTube channel? How can they get little bits?
Yeah, I mean,
if they can't make it out there to the Vault.
if you want to go to the conference, you know, it's valuetainment.com. Highly recommend everybody go. There's 5 different packages. The top 2 are pretty much sold out, but the 3 ones, even general sessions, somebody's got to figure out a way to go. The best way to go is go with your spouse, go with your business partner to go to that event. But if you can't, Valuetainment channel, we have over 800 videos on how to raise money, how to figure out a way, whether you're doing business with your family, whether you should or you shouldn't, 20 rules of money. So many different videos that are on there that can apply to anybody. You'll find that on YouTube called Valuetainment. And the one platform that I respond back to messages 90% of the time is Instagram. And my handle is Patrick Bet David. Patrick, B-E-T, David. You can find me on Twitter as well, but mainly Instagram, Patrick Bet David.
Awesome. There it is.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for coming and blessing us with this. And as we go out, we always like to ask us people a little question. And I'm interested in this. We need to find out and let the people know, what is your superpower?
what is my superpower?
Yeah.
My superpower is reading people.
Ah,
Isn't that crazy?
Mm,
I can
I
read
believe
you.
it.
I can read people. I can read what you're thinking right now.
I can't wait
Read
to
me.
ask you. What did you read?
Read me right into
Oh, I
millions.
can read people. Bradford, can I not read people? I can read
It's a
people.
spirit of discernment. Have you heard of that?
I will take it. I
Yes,
have heard
it
of
is.
it.
We
And
will
I,
go
That's a
spiritual
gift.
on you, Patrick.
I can read people
It's a spiritual gift.
for the most part.
Hmm.
Do we have time for him to read one of us? Okay, look at the producers over there. You guys can't see
I like
it,
your
but
glasses,
Jay
man.
is
Those are
shaking
cool
his head.
glasses.
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
telling on him.
Awesome.
All right.
Hey, well, we thank you very much, Patrick.
Appreciate you for having me. Truly. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you have it. Trip Digital Radio, LA Style Magazine. Patrick, thanks for coming. Definitely come back after the conference and let us know how it went.
I will let you know how the journey went. Journey. How about that? I will do that.
He's
There you
reading
go.
me now.
Indeed.
We'll be back.
Awesome. Thanks.
That was